Hello and welcome to this episode of MIXTAPE. In this episode, we're actually going to be featuring a artist who, who approached me via Reddit, and his name is Stephen Kuc. Stephen Kuc. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but I'm sure when he's watching this episode with absolute disgust and disdain and regret that he ever gave me his music, he will remind me how to pronounce his last name. But anyway, we'll be featuring his new EP, Without a Warning, which is really good. He passed it to me and I was kind of shocked because, I get a lot of music coming from Reddit, and it's something that it's a lot of stuff that doesn't really fit in with this page or my show or whatever. And his music is original. There's a weird kind of rock and roll vibe to it. And it's quite indescribable. But anyway, after I played his EP, we're going to be hearing his thoughts on the EP, and so you're really gonna have to excuse me this morning. I'm really unwell. I have a chest infection and my nose is running like miles. So yeah, you're gonna have to forgive me. I'm gonna be a bit slow today with my productions, but I did promise him that I'd get it up by today, and I will get it up by today, or should be. Well, it's there with you. If you're listening, it's there, isn't it? So yeah, let's go. I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna play his album, which is Without Warning EP by Stephen Kuc, or Cook. Let's go. Reece, you're really being fucking annoying this morning, aren't you? Hey? Okay, let's go. Let's listen.
Been out of my mind, trying to find whatever it is that I've been missing. I should start listening to you a little bit more often. Well, it costed me my fortune when I lost it. Think I aged 10 years in 10 months. months, and it's all been so damn comforting. Yeah, my mind is racing, but these excuses staring right at me. Yeah, they're making faces, telling me to give up on my dreams. I guess I see them in my sleep. I think I see better days than the ones that just face. If I can find whatever it is that I've been wishing on, that's all me now, be gone, fresh start. Also be out of the realm of this reality, living a fallacy, kinda like the lucid dreams I had last night. I'm a king in this world I'm creating. Yeah, burned out and faceless, mistaking all my memories. Yeah, remain complacent, waiting for that world to start changing, while I still do all the same things. You know I wanted so much. Now I just miss the simple things I love. Been missing all the vision I once had when I was young. I lost it sometime after midnight. I can't recall if you walked or crawled. A sunrise, I didn't recognize you. I miss myself most of all. I try to make up my mind to leave this crime scene behind, and try to drive back towards the city where they've searched for me. Stuck out so quietly, took a while to realize that I was missing. Is it a tragedy? I took for empathy. I'd rather leave and try to figure out what I need. Still I ain't so sure it was all my fault. Well, I miss myself most of all. I wanna start a revolution with a sixth string, like it's the 60s. Still haven't found a real solution. Don't you understand? They're doing all they can, and open up your eyes. In it there, dark in the night. See the things you've seen and believe what you don't wanna believe. Is it alright? Yeah, is it alright? Yeah, if we're turning our backs now behind us, the roads, I'll let the rivers keep running. a situation. I've had all kinds of observations as I sit here stuck between a few views as I view you standing across the room. I'm not sure how or why we may speak tonight, but for now I'll leave you alone. And this January, it's got me going crazy. I'm on the outside looking in as I'm freezing by the window again. As the flicks fall on my face, my breath starts to condensate on the glass as I'm stuck in the snow again. Oh, what a terrible inner trend. Sun shining on your face, but I haven't seen you in a while, and I can hardly crack a smile since the cold has cracked my skin and wired my mind to only spin around these trepidations. I've tried all types of medications, none seem to fix this brain, but you can help me. Yeah, I know that you can help me, so please take my hand. Can't we try to dance? I just cannot dance alone. And this January, it's got me going crazy. I'm on the outside looking in as I'm freezing by the window again. As the flakes fall on my face, my breath starts to condensate on the glass as I'm stuck in the snow again. Oh, what a terrible winter trap, and I'm in need of the spring. Oh yeah, it'll fix every little thing, just about any little thing. For now I'll fix myself a drink and try to convince myself to think this whole out and will be brand new again. And in this terrible inner trend, oh, what a terrible trend this is. Changes and push that pedal down. Did you forget to put out your cigarette? Your house is burning now. Charred white walls and flames in the halls. Let's hope the rain can put it out. Well, I burned through the days, yeah, they faded away like the pavement in that hurricane. Now I'm saving some face till I make my escape. Sometimes I forget my name. I'm so far from home, alone and I'm stoned, so I turn up the radio. I'll be alright once I get through this night. I'm young but I feel so old, and maybe we'll get back someday. But lately, been moving the wrong way. I should've stayed, but I couldn't wait and say we are better off this way. Maybe we'll make it out okay. If I would've stayed, but I'd be the same as I once was. Let's take a walk around the block, have a smoke and have a talk about the incidental loss of innocence over the course of nights under the influence. Come on, take a look at this now. We're crazy, baby, have you seen how we camouflage with the crafts of others? But this walk is almost over, will we ever recover? And I hope we'll get it back someday. But I know we've been moving the wrong way. I should've stayed, but I couldn't wait. And maybe we're better off this way. Say we will make it out okay. If I would've stayed, would we be the same as we once were? swear my baby back then once said, I make sure your heart breaks and the broken heart still beats on. With every scar it got stronger and the angry man still lives on. With every breath he grew calmer and I finally found good reasons to be happy. Was money to survive in this conceited world, yeah, oh, I swore I needed was be holding the hand of a beautiful girl, yeah, it'd be nice, but it's alright, none of it will ever make me whole, yes, I'll be fine once I learn to love myself, yes, I'll be fine once I learn to love myself. Surviving this conceited world, yeah, oh, swore I needed was be holding the hand of a beautiful girl, yeah, it'd be nice, but it's alright, none of it will make me whole, yes, I'll be fine once I learn to love myself, yeah, I'll be fine once I learn to love myself.
That was the amazing Stephen Kuc, or Cook, he's going to have to tell me. And that was Without a Warning EP, which is amazing. I couldn't recommend it enough, and I'm so glad he got in touch with me via Reddit and put his music forward, because I love to feature bands who aren't, necessarily popular. But this guy, there's no reason why this guy shouldn't be popular, because he is a true musician. That was true musicianship, and well done to you, man. That was really good. I really enjoyed that, and I am almost sure that my listeners will love it as well. I'm now going to include a clip of him talking about his songs, talking about the creative process, the song meanings, etc., etc., which he was really kind enough to send me. So let's give that a listen, shall we?
Hey, this is Stephen Kuc, here to talk to you about my debut EP, Without a Warning. Came out on May 31st of 2019. And, just here to talk to you about, just the meaning behind the songs in it, my inspirations behind those songs, and, inspirations behind my musical background, and maybe, a little bit about the recording process and my producing process. I started playing music back when I was 12. I know I always loved music because, growing up, before I was even 10 or 9, probably, I was, always listening to these songs on my Walkman. I think I would listen to, like, Good Charlotte and, like, Alien Ant Farm and bands like that, growing up. Maybe, like, the first Fall Out Boy album, too. And, like, I'd be like, this is awesome, I'd try to relate to the lyrics, get goosebumps, all that good stuff, I think Linkin Park in there too. And so I think I always loved music, but I never really took any music lessons. I think maybe like a piano lesson, but that's about it. And I didn't like it. So then when I was about 12, my buddies needed a bassist in their band, so I'm like, hey, you know what? I'd do it. My dad's a good singer, so he was all for me trying to play some music. So he helped me out, got me a bass, and my bass playing days definitely didn't last very long. But it did get me into wanting to play guitar. So I picked up my mom's old guitar, classical guitar with the nylon strings, and I started learning how to play that. Just learned how to play some chords, some basic chords, and then from there I think I got an electric guitar. And I started just learning how to read tabs, and just songs that I knew and that I loved. And, from the love for music kind of grew. And then, within a couple years, I'm like, me and my same buddies were like, hey, let's, try to write some songs. So we did. They definitely weren't very good. But that's something, definitely failed spectacularly. But, everyone fails at some point, right? So then from there, as I grew older, my influences kind of changed. So, those bands we were listening to in the 2000s kind of faded out. And then like I said, my taste kind of matured in a way. Somehow I got into Frank Turner, probably when I was sometime in high school. So, probably around 2010 or so. And he kind of totally changed my songwriting world, because before, I'd kind of just try to, sound exactly like these bands that I listened to. But, listening to him, he just kind of takes a little bit from a lot of different arenas of music and kind of puts it into his own way. And it's all, seems like, or it is all, written just with an acoustic guitar and him playing, and it doesn't have to be anything more complex than that, and just kind of build off that. And with that, like I said, it opened my world for songwriting, and just, with his honest lyrics and kind of complex structures and all that. And then I remember just like I was on iTunes. It's like, oh, people who like Frank Turner may also like, and the Gaslight Anthem was there. So I had like $10 on iTunes. So I bought their album, The 59 Sound, because it had 5 stars, and I was blown away. And that album definitely, further propelled me into knowing the right way to write songs. And so listening to that, and as well as, getting more into even popular bands like the Killers, or so like listen, those kind of bands just kind of, they opened my world not only to songwriting, but they reference, a lot of older classic rock bands and musicians in their songs, and they would cover them too. And so I definitely heard a lot of these songs growing up on the radio and whatnot, and but I never really, took a deep dive into their albums, listen to anything other than the hits, or listen to the hits, with a fine ear to, to hear everything. So like the Gaslight Anthem and Frank Turner and those guys, that got me into like Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, of course. And like I said, I heard their songs. I heard some of their songs before, but never really got into them. And, that just blossomed into a full-on, kind of love and respect for that kind of older music. And with that, I think that solidified my songwriting mind. And from there, and just like listening to interviews with artists, just like how they write, they say it's like kind of like magic. It just comes to them. And it makes me, feel pretty good, because that's kind of how I work too. So once, I feel like I got in a groove with songwriting maybe about when I was 18 or so, and I recorded a whole, I think, 12-song album on a USB mic and and I used an acoustic guitar, and I think I might have tracked one over it. So it's pretty simple, and those songs never saw the light of day. Unfortunately, they're somewhere. Back on my old family computer, but never saw the light of day. But I think with that, and then as my music influences grew and I listened to more and more, I think my songs kind of started morphing into full living, breathing things that I envisioned in my head, and that just channeled all those influences in one. And I think with that in mind, when I was writing these songs for this EP, Without a Warning, I think all 6 were written within about 2 years ago, maybe a little less. So about 2 years ago, I was between jobs, and I recorded, I believe, 4 I had done. I think I still had like Without a Warning half written, and Above Everything Else was also like half written. But the other 4 I recorded, on that same USB mic that I recorded that album when I was in high school. And with that, once it was done, I'm like, damn, this sounds kind of good, but it doesn't sound good enough to where, I'd want this to be my first project, announcing to the world that I'm, a songwriter and that I want to do this for real, because I want something to sound like it's for real. And with that in mind, I'm like, all right, so this isn't the final project yet, but I can start working towards it. So I started, dipping my toes more into the music industry, started playing some open mics around the city, around Chicago. That's where I'm from. And, got some feedback. People liked the songs. And so that was great to hear. And then when I saved enough money to where I thought I could, hire a producer to make these songs into a professional sounding song or album, I went and did so. But, my perfectionist self, wanting to get every little recorded part perfectly, kind of got in the way, and things kind of took too long, and money was going to start adding up and everything. So I'm like, I should just cut my losses and, invest in some decent equipment myself. So I think I can, try to and learn how to mix properly and record properly, so I can get a good sounding EP. And so that's what I did. So over the next year, so about a year ago, I started saving. And once I had, so I started slowly buying stuff for my studio, some microphones. Currently, using one of the condenser mics I bought to record this, an audio interface, a new laptop, because couldn't use my college laptop. That was old and slow, but that's what I used to record those demos on, as well as a few other things like new guitar amp, you name it. And so with that all in mind, I started getting to work on this EP as soon as I had enough knowledge to where I thought I could start recording it well and the right equipment. So started recording it. I threw down a simple beat for each song, using the MIDI controls on my DAW. And, I bought actually an electric drum set too, hoping, that would work as well, for the drums, because, I needed to get a drum track in there. The demos, I think I use a Cajon drum, and yeah, so it was just tough. So yeah, with the electric set and everything, I put down together, or with the MIDI instrument, actually, I put together just, a basic beat to have perfect time. And then, from there, I recorded the bass, recorded the guitars, recorded the singing, and then, just built all the other melodies around that, and then threw in the final drum track somewhere in between, with the fills and, every little, dynamic in there that I could think of. So in between each song, and then, these songs, I just kind of heard them in my head, just how they would sound fully built. And, how they sounded in my head is probably about 90% of how they sound actually, is because, maybe I added some things here and there throughout, like as I was recording, maybe I changed a couple things. But, it's awesome to see my original vision come to life. And speaking with that, that's something that I want to provide for other songwriters in the community. If you're, a solo guy, just have songs written on your acoustic guitar, and you don't want to hear how they would sound in a full band setting, or, hear that full band in your head, but can't find, the bandmates, I'd be more than happy to, help fellow songwriters like that out, and kind of, work with them to produce an album or produce their songs, and, give them life and like a living, breathing song. So that would be, that's one of my goals probably with music, on top of writing and on top of performing and on top of sharing my vision. And so yeah, with all that, that's just a bit about my musical background, my inspirations behind it, and the recording process, of the record. And if I'm going to talk about meanings behind songs, I mean, this wasn't really a conceptual record by any means, but like I said, I wrote them anywhere from 2 to 5 years ago, all these songs. So it was probably when I was between 19 to 22. And so it's really just about what one goes through during that time. It's just growing up, having to adjust to this adult world kind of, without a warning. And it kind of hits you before you're like, damn, like I'm an adult now, and just like kind of losing yourself too through that, and having to find yourself in the end of it. And I think that's, each song kind of reflects that in one way or another. I mean, Without a Warning is just, growing up without a warning, and it's just like, damn. And it's, it's kind of, but each song kind of gets lighter as it goes on. I mean, Revolution is somewhat about that. It's just kind of about realizing, like, hey, like, I'm going to have to, just going to college, getting a job, and you just have to be content with that. But, like, no, that's not the way it has to be. You got to kind of just start a personal revolution if you want to change that. And, just, like I say in the song, like, turn off the television. There ain't results without action. I'm done being passive. So something like that, it's just, you got to, take control of your own life. And then, like, above everything else kind of veers from that theme, I guess, a bit. But it's just, hey, at the end of the day, you just got to love yourself. No matter, what may have went wrong, what may have transpired, and, what may have gotten you down. As long as you love yourself, you'll be all right. And yeah. So, I mean, just with all that in mind, that's really just about the EP, what went into it, the meaning behind it, and all that. So, like I said, my name is Stephen Kuc. This is about my EP, Without a Warning. And, go ahead, give it a listen. Hope you guys like it. And find me, on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Stephen Kuc Music, Stephen with a PH, Kuc spelled Kuc. And you can also, I'm launching a website here soon, so you could find me at stephenkuc.com. So yeah, so thanks again, and yeah, have a good one.
That was Stephen Kuc, and it is Cook. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your last name, man. I thought it had some kind of like Croatian pronunciation, so I do apologise for that. That was an amazing talk about the creative process and what goes in to creating music for Stephen. His influences, song meanings, etc., and he talks a lot about how his music is actually developed. But one thing I will say, and I'm sure I can talk for others with this, is that we do want to see the songs that you put away to see the light of day, because if Without a Warning is anything to go by, I am sure that they will be absolutely amazing, and I would be more than happy to feature them on this channel, on this show again. So yeah, that was Stephen Kuc, Without a Warning EP. Thank you for featuring your music on the show. It's much appreciated. I really liked it. As I said, it was true musicianship, really great songwriting, and really great, instrumentals in the background. Really, really beautiful. So thank you very much once again for allowing me to play your music. And I hope this show was satisfactory to you. I do have to apologise because I am quite sick at the moment. So I may not be on my top game. So for that, I can only apologise. But yeah, I'm going to sign off now. I hope everyone listening enjoyed the album as much as I did. I'm sure they did. But thank you for listening, guys. And remember, hit the subscribe button for more great content. Thank you ever so much once again for listening, and have a great day. Bye bye.